Okay, so here we are, the first official episode after our test run. So that means that it went well, and maybe you guys will hear that at some point, but probably not.
Nope, that one
So
was trash. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, but here we are, Johnny G and Super Bop. Unless you want to use your real names, then we can do that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if you want to use my government name, you can.
the government,
Yeah, can we? Yeah, should we call you Johnny G, or dare we reveal your real first name?
Yeah, I mean, I do
Yeah.
I do prefer the stealth of Johnny G. It's so much different.
yeah, I feel like we should decide right now,
Honestly-
even though we'll like inevitably mess up at some point.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I learned my lesson from our earlier episodes that it's gonna slip, so I'm fine with using my first name.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't really care. I'm going to use both. So,
Oh. Okay.
yeah.
Fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just so everyone knows like who's who. Yeah. So Valero Super Bop, Johnny G, and then myself,
Yeah.
K Sponge and Gouda. So, yeah. It's basically Monday. I feel like we have so many things to talk about because
So many
the world
things.
is falling apart. But I guess we'll just we'll stick with 3 topics
Yeah.
on each episode, just to make it a little bit easier. And if we end up rambling, then we end up rambling, and that's okay. So yeah, how's everyone doing today?
Pretty good. Another day, another dollar. Playing in the stock market every month. Like, this is my first time in like years actually waking up before 9 a.m. Like on a consistent basis, and the stock market is what gave me the motivation to do it. So
Yeah.
hats off to gambling every morning.
I was about to say, what he isn't telling you is that really he just developed a gambling addiction. That's all that really happened. And
Hey man, everyone needs a hobby.
yeah, but hey, yeah, everyone needs something, and hey, it works until it doesn't. So just ride that wave, man.
Lorraine is gonna listen to this and be like, "That's what finally gets you up."
Yeah,
Hey, do you want me sleeping in, or do you want me making money,
yeah.
or losing money?
Either way, at least you're like learning something valuable.
I mean, and to his credit too, this is probably one of the well, not the longest, but like this is the longest run of anyone that I've personally known of like having consistent like gambling on options profit that I've ever seen in my life. So either he's like the luckiest person in the world, or like this is what he's gonna do like for the rest of his life. This is it.
What do they call Warren Buffett? I'm gonna be the next Oracle. Just watch. I'm still young. Warren Buffett's got like 60 years on me. Like, give me 60
Yeah.
more years, I'll be
Yeah.
the Oracle of Milwaukee.
Oh no.
No, I'm just kidding. Well, this is gonna age either great or terribly. I'm just like, like what a fail that was, or like, hey, what's
Well,
right
the
about
cool
that?
thing about running your own podcast is that you don't ever have to talk about your losses. So you could just like, make it seem like, you never lose.
Yeah, that's true. All I do is win, no matter what.
That's right. Yeah.
Sorry,
W's.
we don't have the rights to that song.
Yeah. Don't sue us, please.
I feel like I think that was okay. As long as you only sing like the first 10 seconds, then it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, I
that was-
hear if you're like under 8 seconds, I think you're usually okay.
Yeah, the 8-second rule. I think
Yeah,
I'm.
I don't know how true that is, but
All right, I'm good.
couldn't
T-Pain,
hurt.
don't come after us.
yeah, actually,
Oh, yeah, that was
I
T-Pain.
hear he doesn't have a lot of money these days. So if anyone comes after you, it might be him.
Yeah, that is true. He's gonna be like, "Hey, man, remember when you had that podcast and that one time you sang my song? Pay up." Like,
You're gonna come up to him and be like, "Man, T-Pain, I can't believe I'm seeing you here. I'm a big fan." He's gonna be like, "That's great. Remember when you had that podcast?" Like he'll have Sheldon there to see you. And you won't have even realized
T-Pain,
it. Yeah.
the real T-Pain.
He's gonna be like, "Yeah, man, you want to take a picture?" Yeah, and then he's gonna walk away. As he's walking away, he's gonna be like, he's gonna hand you some papers and be like, "You've been served."
Yeah.
He's gonna serve them himself. Like,
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
in person.
He's like, would you like our corner pointed, like, what do they call those person? Like a server? Or a corner pointed
process server?
Process server to deliver the
Yeah.
papers? He's like, nah. He's like, I'm gonna get this myself.
I got this one.
He's like, nappy boy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. He's one of the few people like who just continue to keep their 2000 and like 8 9 style, and like he literally hasn't changed it at all.
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
like if you picked up T Pain in 2022 and just placed him back in 2009, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
That is pretty much true. Yeah.
I kind of like that though. It makes for me it's like then I know he's genuine. Like that's actually
Sure, yeah.
T-Pain.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
that's
he's
that's
not just
fair.
trying.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. Like, unless you're someone who's like younger, obviously, like when we were like obviously we were still like growing up in 2009, so obviously we're prone to change. But like he was an adult, I'm pretty sure in 2009, and so like yeah, by that time it actually says a lot of positive about him that like he didn't change very much. Like I'm assuming he grew as a person, but like his outward style was his outward style then.
Yeah, T-Pain is
Yeah.
37 now, so yeah, he was
Damn.
like 30
Really?
basically, like almost 30 when he was 10 years ago.
I thought he was like 20 years older than us.
Really?
Yeah.
No, he's
I feel like 37 feels right. That's kind of, I guess, what I would have guessed.
yeah. So
Okay.
in 2012 he was 27. Yeah, so he's only 6 years old. Yeah, 6 years older than us.
Holy shit! So that was 10 years ago. He was popular. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're old.
yeah. From about 2000 like 8 9 to yeah, he had like features all through 2010 and 2011.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like so disconnected from music that I don't even know who the feature man is anymore.
Yeah, I don't
Like
know
that
either.
one guy who shows up in everything.
It's that guy with the really like, long name, like Young Boy. I'll never be broke again as long as I ever live, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, young man, get your money up. Mo dollars, mo dollars. Gucci chain, bands.
Picho, Pedro,
Yeah,
Bad Gucci.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Hashtag stunting.
Yeah, that's how you know we're old as fuck because all of those people just mesh into one person for us.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. That's a telltale sign you're old. Like, once you think the new songs are garbage, that means you're not with it anymore.
That's okay. I've come to terms with it.
Yeah, I don't know if our audience is gonna be.
Yeah. It just means that we've evolved.
Yeah, exactly.
We've become our true selves.
Now I listen to jazz and ragtime.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Anyone
That's a
up,
good song.
anyone up for listening to some 60s diner music?
Yeah, man, they had it right back then.
Yeah, just spin yourself round and round.
So what do we
Oh,
got
man.
today? What's first on the list?
Oh, baby.
Well, I feel like the main thing that everyone is thinking about, like no matter like where on the spectrum
Yeah, hit me with
in
it.
society you are,
Yeah.
is Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Oh, yeah. Cancel me, baby.
That
No, I'm just
trial
kidding.
that just ended, and it seems like everyone was following it pretty closely. I'm just gonna come out right off the bat and say I didn't at all. I could care less about what happened to these people or their relationship. So, like to me, it's like whatever. But yeah, I guess I'm more interested to learn why everybody else cares so much about this.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's Jack Sparrow in a divorce trial. Like, who doesn't want to watch that?
He
Like,
said
and he was
because
hilarious too.
It's Captain Jack Sparrow.
He was like, first he shit on my bed, and I was like, why would you do that?
Yeah, that sounds exactly like him, by the way.
And like literally at a point in the trial, I shit you not, the music, the theme to Pirates of the Caribbean started playing. No, I'm just
I actually care about it for like a different reason. It's actually like for a lot of people, it's important because like this is one very clear example that we have with evidence where the perpetrator of abuse wasn't the man. So like this and like this guy basically, and for those of you who also did not follow this, like obviously most of us know that Amber Heard like alleged that Johnny Depp both like physically, like verbally and sexually abused her, basically. And the evidence so that she supposedly had was like some type of like witnesses, most of whom never showed up to court to testify on her behalf. And also there were like these two pictures, and basically the entire trial, that was like the evidence, right? So even though Johnny Depp was, for the most part, denying ever doing anything like that, the whole trial was about defamation because at the time, I don't know, for those of you who don't remember, at the time that Amber Heard made these allegations, it was right in the center of the Me Too movement. And at that time, there was a slogan going around, and for the most part, there is, depending on who you ask, still a slogan going around that is token believe all women. And if there's anyone who is a shining example of why that is stupid, it is Amber Heard. So I mean, basically, so basically, I think this trial just showed us the drawbacks to not following through with due process and like letting just public opinion sort of run how you think about people's reputation. Because Johnny Depp, just based on the allegations, without any evidence of him actually being the perpetrator of assault, he basically got completely removed from the last Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, Disney refused to work with him. And anyone who's watched that series or any part of it knows that he literally makes that series. Like, that isn't a thing without him. So, like, they were willing to part with him simply on the allegations. And I think a big part of why that's important to me is that if you look closely at this trial, like, Johnny Depp did win, but what it took to ruin his life was allegations. What it took to get it back was evidence. And what's nuts about that to me is that I hear all the time from people who are close to like forms of domestic violence who always say like, evidence is so rare in violent situations, like you can't expect people to have evidence. But those same people, oddly enough, required evidence from Johnny Depp to believe that, one, he didn't abuse Amber Heard the way she said, and two, that he actually was the one abused. And if you don't know, like, there's a whole clip of Amber Heard, like, on recording, admitting to hitting him several times.
That was a thing? Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was played in court and everything. Yeah, it was very clear that she did it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So first off, as a Pirates of the Caribbean fan, I will say that Johnny Depp's character already had his arc and shouldn't be in the movies anyways. So
fuck it.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, like, you don't need any more Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Second off, I guess I'm playing devil's advocate here, but at the same time, not really, because Johnny Depp was also found liable for abuses of sorts, $2 million worth, which isn't like a little.
So that was for defamation. So that wasn't.
There we go.
Yeah, but he was definitely in. I just want to make it crystal clear. Like, both of them were at the very best case scenario. Both of them were very verbally abusive to each other. Like they definitely were in a toxic relationship.
Like, how do you get someone to shit in your bed? I've never made a girl that mad.
Yeah. Well, he also has he had a very well like publicly known problem with like drug abuse. So that part of his life was also during the time that he was with Amber. So yeah, it's not a far stretch to imagine that he probably said a lot of things that were terrible. And there's definitely evidence of that too. I'm pretty sure there's like taped recordings or text messages of him saying like he would like fuck her dead corpse or something like that.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Jesus Christ!
So he was wild.
What a fucking
too.
Psycho!
Yeah,
I don't want to ever see that guy again.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
so he's definitely got his own fucking trauma that he needs to work through. Both of them do. I was just very surprised that like again, if you had to watch the trial to like understand the level of like narcissism that came from Amber Heard, but like even in the face of hearing herself on recording saying that she hit him, she still denied hitting him.
That's crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
she's an actor. Like,
Well, right. So yeah, she's an actor. She also physically brought she brought two pictures. Her legal team brought two pictures and claimed they were different pictures. And like if you just put them on top of each other, like the pixels line up identically. Like they had a person come in and like she said that they weren't edited at all, and the metadata shows like the photo editor that the pictures came through.
dang.
And these are the pictures that she claimed were of her, like her face where she got like punched, and then she claimed like she got like sexually assaulted by a bottle that she claimed may or may not have been broken. Like again, I don't have a vagina, but every person I spoke to with a vagina says that there's no way they would not know that if a bottle was assaulting them, that it wasn't broken or not. So there's just a lot of things wrong with a lot of the things that she said. So like that's why if it seems like I'm going softer on Johnny Depp, I am, because at least he like in court admitted to his issues. And when you ask Amber about those issues, she's just like, no, I didn't do anything. What's the problem? So like I've just never seen someone so like mentally disconnected from what's happening right in front of them. That was the wildest part of it for me.
It's hard to talk about this without a girl on here. Like, I wish we could get like a girl's perspective. Like, what do you think about this? I wish I could know. I kind of talked to Lorraine about it like a little bit, but she hasn't said like too much. So
I still don't understand why this matters because it's two people that are fundamentally disconnected from society and reality just by the nature of their career and how much money that they have. And so those are two people that are definitely going to be eccentric and hard to deal with. And they had a shitty relationship, as most people do in Hollywood. And somehow, for some way, that means that now someone owes someone else money. Like, people have shitty relationships all the time, and at the end of it, someone isn't saying, "Okay, now you owe me $3 billion."
That's
unless
because
you're married.
Well, that's because most people don't have their like their careers tied up into public opinion. Like literally.
Yeah, and that's their choice.
Yeah,
that's what they signed up for. That's their jobs.
Yeah. But that's why
So why does that mean that now it affects my life?
Well,
I don't.
It doesn't. You personally don't have to like be a part of it. We're just talking about obviously as part of the podcast. But the reason you asked why it's important to other people. A lot of the reason that Amber Heard specifically is important to a lot of people is because of how prominent she was during that Me Too movement time. Like that was a very, very big thing. It was very public. She made it very public. She actually wrote the whole trial was about the op-ed that she wrote, basically trying to defame him. Yeah. So like the reason all that's important is because behind Amber Heard was this idea that when women say that they're abused, you should take those allegations very seriously, which I absolutely agree with. She sort of she's part of a smaller group of people who morph that into simply blanket believe everybody without evidence at all. And so like that bit of public, like her sway over public opinion is what people were starting to, I don't want to say fight back against, but like the trial was a good way for people to see like, okay, maybe just because someone's famous, and obviously this should be obvious to everyone by now, but like just because someone's famous doesn't mean that they're any smarter or should have any more sway over your life than any other normal person. Like you should obviously still think for yourself. But I know that we all understand that, but you have to understand that at that time there weren't people thinking that way. So like a lot of people came to the light because of this, which is crazy to say, but it's true, unfortunately.
It's just ridiculous to me that everyone has apparently decided that she's crazy, and he is also crazy to some extent. And then you guys are confused, not you guys in particular, but everyone else watching the trial is confused that she believed that she was abused, when you're saying that she was also crazy. Well, yeah. So it wouldn't be crazy for her to actually believe those things.
Right.
So, like, what's the problem?
The problem is that people are stupid.
But what does that mean then? Like, people...
It means that even in the face of overwhelming evidence of the obvious, they're more willing to believe things that make them more comfortable. And it's more comfortable to believe that Amber Heard was a force for good at that time because a lot of people just liked Amber Heard.
Interesting.
It had nothing to do with like the obvious like Judah said, like if you can very clearly like understand that these people aren't sane and they don't live sane lives, like they're even if they were quote unquote sane, they're still like in the public eye so much that I think they're probably not extremely sane. Like they probably have some screws loose to even be in their positions. Like a lot of people don't think that way. They idolize these type of people. Like it's why people are famous just for the sake of being famous. Like what else do you know about Kim Kardashian other than the fact that she made a sex tape and had a show? Like did she do anything crazy to help the world other than post pictures on Instagram and have a sex tape?
I mean,
No.
now she has, but at first, no.
Right. So but that's my point. Like all it took was her fame to be able to have enough power to actually do things.
Yeah, that is true.
Which is so crazy, but that's just
right.
the world, man.
And Amber Heard was essentially she put Johnny Depp's fame in jeopardy by doing what she did. Yeah, it's funny. It's crazy how much like attention this trial got, and like there was only money on the line. Like this was not a criminal trial. Like no one would ever go to jail from the outcome unless they admitted to some other crime.
Yeah,
well,
unless they perjured themselves or something crazy.
Right, but like this was just like everyone just really enjoyed watching like two rich people fight over their money.
Yeah.
For once, instead of poor people fighting over it. Like it was
I also
nice.
think there was an obsession over the trial because it was interesting for people to see. Like I've always heard from my wife Danielle that she watches shows sometimes based on how improbable the people's lives seem who are in the show. Like basically like how far out the further out of from her reality it is, the more likely she is to watch the show. And I think that might be part of what's going on here. Like to see someone like again like Amber Heard, who you would think in the face of evidence, like there's like this is you on tape saying you hit him, and she's like, no, I didn't hit him. Like to hear someone say that like on TV, you're just like it's like the best drama like sitcom that you could think like it's literally like reality TV, which is
it's like watching a train wreck. You can't look away. Like
exactly.
It's terrible, and like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, I'm sure had like the worst 2 months of their lives, basically the last 2 months being in front of cameras. And
I'm sure.
But it was amazing to watch. Like it was like that's what I want to see. Like I want to see two rich people having like, a terrible time trying to squabble over their money. Like that's good entertainment right there.
Yeah, I personally didn't watch for those reasons. Like, it was much more interesting to me the nuance behind how people treated like male victims, and that was more interesting to me about the trial than anything else. But yeah, for a lot of people, I'm sure it was just that. It was a train wreck that they couldn't afford to look away from, so they kept watching.
Yeah, it was nice. Like no matter what financial class you're in, to know that even if you're at the tip top, you'll still have to go and sit through a multi-week trial. Like, my life, I know, even though I'm vastly poorer than both of them, I know my everyday life has been better than either of theirs, just for the sake that they have to sit on stand for a trial of their own for the last 2 months. Because, like, that's not fun. Like, they're not getting paid for it. In fact, a lot of money's on the line. They have to pay all these lawyers. And they have to show up for this thing that's super boring. And, like, they're getting scrutinized. Like, that sucks. But, like, they're supposed to be on the top. They're not supposed to have to go through such terrible things in life. But they do. There's a way for everyone to get brought down. And it's like, yeah, it's just nice to see. It's just nice to see that.
It all depends too, like on how far you want to take it. Like I'm sure even without like let's assume that Johnny Depp just kept saying like he denied allegations, but he never took her to court or anything, right? Like he never was able to like get the evidence out, but he took the approach that you had of like I'd rather just not deal with it, and because I'm sure he has enough money to live out the rest of his life and not think about going broke if he just changed some things around. But like he made the decision that it was more important to him to drag himself through that. So,
that's true.
I guess in his mind, like how people viewed him was more important than just like having his life calm for the last few months.
It was worth all the troubles for him. And
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it was.
Yeah, considering like if it was a sexual allegation, I completely understand that. Like if you did not do it, I think it's definitely worth that if you can definitely prove like your side of it.
Yeah. Agreed.
All I can say is that everything about the trial was disappointing, and everyone's reactions to it was also disappointing. I am overall disappointed in the state of society.
Underwhelmed.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
when you introduced this topic, you were like, this is something that's been affecting everyone's lives. Like, this is huge. Like, I was like, oh man, the war on Ukraine, like, the pandemic.
Yeah, right,
Like,
you would think.
Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. I was like, what?
Right, isn't that ridiculous? Like, isn't that just so stupid? Like, you've already given these people enough attention and money, and now they're getting even more attention and money for being so bad at having attention and money.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's crazy.
That's how you create Donald Trump, people. Is this what we want? Do we want another Donald Trump?
Apparently, yeah, that's what I'm seeing. So
Yeah, that was his MO. All publicity is good. He doesn't give a fuck. He'll grab you right by the pussy, and that accelerated him to the highest position in government.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I think her career isn't over.
I think people made it that kind of a spectacle. I don't think that's why like Johnny Depp did it. Like I obviously don't know Johnny Depp and what his actual motives are, but I think it's perfectly reasonable to think that he also wanted it publicized so that people would know that he wasn't the monster that like Amber Heard made him out to be, which I can actually sympathize with. Like rich or poor, like I would do the exact same thing. So like to me, I think it was probably more important to some people that they just figured out the fact that like someone was willing to, like a dude was willing to stand up and say like, no, I actually was abused, because like apparently the guy was like a fingertip chopped off or some shit. I don't know what the fuck is going on over there, but it is crazy. Like I have never heard of any crazy shit like that before, and like I was not interested in it just because they were famous, and I think that definitely probably brought a lot of eyes to it. But at the end of it, I don't think people took away from it like, I care about this because it's Johnny Depp. Like a lot of people definitely seemed to, from what I could see, really like be perplexed by the fact that someone could be like so upfront and like smiley, but like to Guda's point, like she's an actress, so they should have seen this coming. But like be so upfront with everyone and seem so real, and but really like be bopping her husband in the background and just like not care about it.
Quick hypothetical. Bring yourself back like 10 years, just out of college. None of us have shit. You don't have nothing. No girlfriend. Actually, okay. In this hypothetical, no one here has girlfriends. Everyone's single. No nothing.
All right.
Let's say we all decide to move to wherever the fuck city Amber Heard lives in. You're on Tinder, and she pops up, and she swiped right on you. But actually, that's irrelevant. Do you swipe right on her? Like, oh shit, that's
No.
Amber Heard. Like, just
Absolutely not.
no. But she's rich and famous.
Are you saying just
Why would
like,
I? No, that's the last person I want to date, because you're never gonna date Amber
Yeah,
Heard. Amber Heard is not even Amber Heard. She doesn't even know who she is.
Yeah,
Like,
probably not.
there's absolutely nothing genuine about a famous person, and I don't want anything to do with that.
So you just wouldn't date her because she was famous, not because she shit in her ex-boyfriend's bed.
Wait, so am I taking like this hypothetical as like I know what I know now, but it's 10 years ago?
Right, yes. I'm sorry, that's a good preface. But yes, that is supposed to be the point of the hypothetical.
Oh.
Like, what's Amber Heard's dating life going to look like? Who's going to date her? Because, I mean, like...
Other crazy people.
Oh, yeah.
Other crazy... Like,
Yeah.
someone's going to be like, yeah, you shit in the bed. Like, that
Yeah.
sounds... I want that.
People have dealt with way worse.
Come shit in my bed.
There are fans of hers that have already justified everything she did and
Right.
that came out in the trial away already. They have
Really?
already, yeah.
Even though she pooped in someone's bed?
they
Did
don't.
they
what I'm
have
saying.
people come and testify that there was poop in the bed?
Yeah.
Was that a thing?
She admitted.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do that. She admitted to it.
Oh my god!
She said.
She didn't even.
She said that it was an ill. In hindsight, it was an ill-timed joke.
A joke? You
Yeah.
pooped in someone's bed. Like, she
Yeah,
shit.
she's 5
She
years old.
turded in someone's bed.
Yeah,
Amber
she-
Turd. That's
yeah.
what they were calling her.
Yeah,
That's
she-
crazy.
She's in middle school. Yes.
She's in middle school.
Yeah,
I
right?
wouldn't.
She didn't have the chance to
Yeah,
develop
so,
mentally.
So based on that, no, I absolutely would not date anyone who has shown themselves to be that level of narcissist. Like, if you can't eat, like, the biggest, craziest part of that for me was that literally, like, the third time I'm gonna say this now, she heard the tape, and on the tape, not only did she admit to hitting him, she said out loud when he said, you're abusing me. She said out loud, "Go tell the world, Johnny. Tell them that I Amber Heard, a 120-pound woman, hit you." Like, she basically tried to bait him into saying, like, no one's gonna believe you, so why bother? Like, that's basically what she was saying. And it's all on the tape. And they literally, right after playing that tape, asked her, like, you abused Johnny Depp, didn't you, Miss Heard? No. Okay, so like you're literally not even living in reality anymore. Like her psychological problems are one thing, but like if your psychological problems cause you to disconnect so much that when you see a bird and someone asks you, "Is that a bird?" and you say, "There's what bird? There's nothing there." Like that's too much for me. I can't be responsible for that.
Yeah.
Well, like Valero said before, these are people that are not used to losing.
Right,
And
yes.
if you're like fighting, like why would you say yes if you know very well that's like the nail in the coffin?
Right.
I'd say no too.
Yeah,
I'd be like,
when you're on
no.
stand, you have to say no. That's
Yeah.
a $15 million question right there, or however much she was suing or getting sued for.
Apparently not, because she still lost.
Yeah, because she did abuse him. He abused her too.
Right. Yeah, that's so dumb.
Yeah, it's all so dumb. Very well said.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's so
All right.
crazy. The world, man. The world.
So even though 10 years ago, both of you didn't have shit, like you would have been happy to eat like a half of a chicken nugget for a meal, and like it was free or something. Like that would have been good for you guys. But like you would still not date someone who was super rich and famous, and you wouldn't do it, Gouda, because they're famous, and you wouldn't do it, John, because they're crazy.
Right.
But like you don't have anything.
Correct.
Like you don't think they could make your life better, even a little bit.
No.
I do have something. I have my sanity.
Yeah.
Okay.
My dignity.
And funny enough, my sanity is what pulled me out of that bad position that you were describing 10 years ago. So while I understand that it might be a good short-term fix for the problem, it just creates a larger long-term problem that's not worth the trouble. I'd rather be poor in the short term than rich and abused, hooked to some fucking woman child in the long term. Like, fuck no. There's no way. Do you see how old Johnny Depp looks? I don't want that.
Yeah, he aged like 10 years.
Yeah.
He's like, she pooped in my bed.
Yeah. I don't want that shit.
Like she already got him. She shaved 10 years off his life.
Yeah. Yeah, she
Yeah.
did.
Well, I guess you just believe in the side hustle too much, which takes us into our next topic. Does anyone want to say anything else about this, by the way, before I just move us on or something?
Yeah, just don't.
Good game, Johnny.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, GG's. Yeah, and just don't, if you feel the need to like mentally or verbally or like physically abuse your partner, just get out of that relationship.
Yeah, just
Like
get out.
just for everyone's sake, and just do that before you feel like you need to sue someone.
Yeah, just get your own side hustle.
Yeah, just get a side hustle.
Just get
Also-
distracted with making some money.
Also, everyone, like, please don't make like decisions about how good or bad people are until you've actually met them yourselves.
Oh yes. Yes.
That I feel like that'll just help everyone focus on things that actually matter in the future.
That's a good point.
So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Oh.
Yeah, but that side hustle, boy, because
Yeah.
that's probably what Johnny Depp was doing for like the past 10 years, right? Wait, how long was he canceled for?
5 years ago. 5,
Okay.
6 years ago.
Yeah. I
That's
mean, do you
crazy.
think it's possible to survive on side hustles for 5 years?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as like his stature, I'm not sure, but
Yeah,
like
yeah. It depends on what kind of lifestyle you want for that 5 years, but like the bare minimums, yeah.
yeah, definitely on a side hustle. Yeah, I turned my side hustle into my main hustle, but then
Yeah,
it's not a side hustle anymore, so it doesn't really
yeah.
count.
I mean, I don't know. I couldn't do this anymore because of where gas is. But like back when I actually did Postmates and DoorDash and that kind of shit, I definitely could have lived on that if it was just me and I just had like a small apartment and nothing, like just the bare minimums. I could have lived on that.
Yeah, not anymore.
Not anymore
Rent
though, because
rent is like $2,000 for a
yeah,
1 bedroom.
yeah, and gas is in the stratosphere.
So tell us about what is this side hustle story? Because like I
Yeah.
don't really know about the side hustle culture. Like
Yeah. Oh, you don't?
I was an early adopter, I guess, before like I've never even heard of side hustle culture. Like I thought I was
It's
the
a
only
serious
one.
thing, man. Yeah. So basically, it got like prominent in I'd say 2017 or 18. People like I don't know if you've ever heard of Gary Vee or Grant Cardone, but basically they're big YouTube personalities that like specifically Gary Vee. He runs like a digital media company, and his whole brand is centered around like I don't want to say just hustle culture, but basically he sets up this idea of like grinding to what you want and like just defining what your goals are, obviously, and like seeking out to attain them over the course of the long term. And I think that has put people in a space of side hustle culture. So like an example is he'll tell you if you're okay making 60,000 a year, like and that's fine for you, then just do that. But then the whole day he'll post a vlog video the next day of him waking up at 3 a.m. and working until midnight. So what he says for you to do and what he does himself are different, and he says that that's because obviously you guys have different aspirations. So like I feel like him and a lot of other larger personalities sort of ushered this in, and now everyone sort of wants to not work a normal job and be their own boss, and that leads to this culture, I believe, of basically turning your real life interactions into transactions. And I think that in itself has become a little bit poisonous. And a story that I have to illustrate that actually happened to my wife over the course of the last, I'd say, like 3 or 4 weeks. So, my wife Danielle, we live in a small town, just so that everyone knows, and my wife is a part of most of the Facebook groups for the town. Like, there's like a dog owners group, just a one for the
Yeah.
general town and all that
Didn't
kind of
we hear
stuff. That
about
has
the dog
news.
owners group last week or something?
We heard, yeah, that was about
Yeah.
That was a
something
good
like
one.
that. Yeah, so basically in these groups, like obviously people can meet each other, you can make friends, that kind of thing. So she had started talking to someone from the dog group, and they were talking about all different types of things over the course of the weeks. And Danielle was like, getting to know her, and like they were becoming friends, or so it seemed. So basically, the conversation about 3 or 4 weeks in, I could be getting the timeline wrong, so just bear with me. But after they got to know each other a little bit better, the conversation essentially turned towards like the woman mentioning that she had all these like fitness goals, and she was like really like into fitness lately, and she was really like trying to monitor her health, which was cool because like her and my wife just had a baby, so Danielle was kind of getting getting healthy herself. For those of you who don't know, like I'm vegan and she eats a lot of like fruits and vegetables daily anyway. So they started talking about that, and somehow that morphed into the woman sort of asking like, "Hey, did Danielle want to be part of like this group, this fitness group that this woman had?" And I basically it was presented to her as like everyone just sort of motivates each other to sort of hit your goals and to sort of lose weight and be healthy and all that. And Danielle sort of said, I'm fine where I'm at. I'm not really looking for anything like that right now. So over the last few weeks, they've been talking, and I'd say about 3 or 4 days ago, it finally came out that this lady was selling basically, I don't want to say a course, but like basically a package plan to, help you with your fitness goals.
Holy
And
shit.
she finally came out with it after like 4 weeks of discussion about everything else under the sun.
Oh my god, what a
Right?
sale, man.
Yeah. So she had been setting up this sale for weeks. So Danielle texted me while I was outside one day, and she goes like, she finally came out with it and told me, what the whole thing was, because we had figured out by this point that she was probably trying to set up a sale, but she just hadn't said it yet. And so we were talking about like, what's the best way to respond to her, and I told Danielle, I was like, honestly, because Danielle told me like I don't feel good about obviously like talking to her because I feel like I was just set up. Like I feel like all the stuff we were talking about was just fake because she's just trying to get me to buy something. And I was like, honestly, I think you should just tell her that. Like be honest with her about the fact that she turned you like not only did she like potentially lose a friend. I don't even, who knows if she was even really looking for a friend at this point. But like if she was, she lost a friend, right? And then two, like you're like no one wants to buy something from you, like for you to be selling to people who didn't ask to be sold to. This
You're
idea
in a dog group.
Yeah, you're in a dog group, exactly. And like obviously, and that's the other thing, like those types of groups prevent people from soliciting to other people by post, right? So this lady, knowing that, still joined. I don't know if she joined the group for that, but she's been like basically on the side hustle. She's been side hustling the people in the group. And like that's why I was saying I think it's turned people into sort of transactions, because I don't think that lady in that moment realized, like in her mind, I think she was in her hustle game, right? She was like, I'm gonna brew my business. And when you hear, I don't know if you guys have heard recently about like, especially in 2020, like there have been a explosion of like multi-level marketing schemes with like mostly women selling like beauty products to other women. And it all sort of depends on you recruiting enough people to sort of, get, revenue underneath you. And I feel like because of that sort of phenomenon, like it's crazy that you could talk to someone in a group and just not even be asking to buy anything. And she's just like, yeah, so do you want to buy this? Like, can you imagine if you were walking around just your house and someone just came up to you and was like, hey, like, want to do dinner? And you guys just got to know each other for weeks. And then finally they're like, hey, so when I walked past the first time, I noticed your lawn was really fucked up. You want to buy some lawn stuff from me? Like, could you imagine, like, what that would be like if, like, they just kept dropping hints about how shitty your lawn was, like, over the 4 weeks, but then you guys talk about something else, and then all of a sudden they're like, listen, if you really want to take your lawn to the next level, I've got the thing for you, man.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, like, and that's how it felt. So I just thought that was interesting because it seems like in a world that's already pretty segmented, like we're also sort of, I don't want to say we are teaching people, but like social media has sort of turned people into like conversions now, and I think that's pretty sad.
Yeah, I would say like in every step of the way, like not only do the social media companies sell all your data to everyone else, but now the other people on social media sites are trying to get money and profit off you in some way. Yeah, like that same thing, not the same thing, but I mean, it's something somewhat similar. Not quite. It wasn't like a 4-week like sale or anything, but like when I was working at Qdoba, like when I was just out of high school, like this guy like came through Qdoba and like he struck up a conversation with me because I was just being nice, like customer service or whatever. And then like it turns out like he's a real nice guy. Like we talked for a while. It was like a slower time, so like I had time to like kind of like chat with him for a little bit. He's like, yeah, you seem like a real smart person. He's like, he's like at the end of the conversation, he was like, you should, he's like, I'm having this, like, class or something like this. No, he said, he's like, I'm looking for someone to help me with this thing. He was, like, real vague about it. He's like, it's just, like, a couple hours a week that I would need some help, and, like, I think you'd be, like, great for it. And I was like, oh, okay, like, anything's got to be better than, like, getting paid minimum wage at Qdoba, so, like, I'm definitely interested to at least see what it is. So he's like, yeah, meet me at this like conference room or whatever, this hotel or whatever. And he's like, I got a bunch of other people coming in to like see if they can help me out too. So it's like, okay, like a job opportunity. I was like, this is cool. And then when I showed up, it was a multi-level management scheme, which is just like what you were saying, like how the girls are trying to, you have to get enough people underneath you. It was the same thing. Like the moment he like within the first 10 minutes, I understood like what was happening. I was like, oh, it's like one of these. Like, so he didn't think that I was special in any way. Like, I was just the sucker who was like nice enough to talk to him for long enough for him to like convince me that we bonded in some way, which is why he wanted to work with me. It was like, no, that's not true. And yeah, and that was all the way back in like probably like 2009, 2010. Basically.
And then, like, when that happens, like, you can't even be sure that any of the things, like, that they show, the way that they showed, like, presented themselves to you is even real, because you don't know how much of that is selling now. It's just like, you have to question
immediately, I threw every single conversation and sentence that we had out the window. Like, I now know that I was a sale for him. Like, and
that just makes you feel gross. Like, that's disgusting.
I can't imagine had he like kept coming back to Qdoba for like a whole month and like we were like friends, and then one day he just brought that up and like, wait, that's what you're trying to do? That you've been talking about this whole time because you're trying to get me to join your scam, your Ponzi scheme or whatever? Like,
so did he ever come back to Qdoba ever again?
Never. I've never seen that guy again. Yeah,
that's crazy.
He was 100% there to recruit someone. Yeah.
Not to mention, the side hustle culture thing has this weird side effect of like shitting on regular jobs, like you're sitting there making minimum wage at McDonald's, like where you could be making this, and this. Like, just to be clear, most people who have side hustles don't make like half of what people at McDonald's make. Like, legitimately. Like, and just think about how long the setup was for the woman who was trying to sell to Danielle. She spent 4 weeks on
That's
what?
Crazy.
On what? Like, at most $100 sale? You could have just fucking flipped burgers and made that a couple of days. What are you doing? Like, your side hustle isn't, like, for all the shit that you just went through, if you had put half of that into just doing remedial work, you could have made way more money. So, like, that, it's just doubly stupid in my mind. Like, not only are you a salesman because you've decided your hustle is just so important that the world needs it, but, like, you're bad at it.
That's hilarious. Yeah, you know, like, those people are needed. Like, if someone like that, like, contacted me, I was like, oh, hey, like, I just be like, you want to make some real money? Like, you can just help me sell some stuff for my company, and, like, you don't have to, like, trick people into, like, this scam. Like, I need someone who's outgoing, willing to talk to people, and, like, literally exactly what she's doing. And then at the end of it, like, you get a service that, like, you, one, have probably solicited for or, like, would be remotely interested in. Like, I'm not going to a dog park to sell security items. Like, so it's just, like, it's much more fulfilling to do it for, like, a real company, I would think, than to do it for, like, a Ponzi scheme.
Right, and that's the thing. Like, if you just want to be a salesperson, just go work for a company that sells things that people are actually demanding. Like, no one asks for Avon. No one asks for these products that people, like, these MLM products people are selling. No one asks for essential oils. Like, and now they're everywhere. Right. Like, what the fuck? Like, if I see lavender one more fucking time, and we have essential oils in our house too, which and they fuck with my nose so hard. That's if anyone's wondering.
I hate them.
Yeah, if anyone's wondering why I'm like hostile towards essential oils, it's because when they get in my nose, I just can't. I can't fucking breathe.
There's some of them that bother me a lot too.
Yeah,
I swear they're poisonous, and actually they're poisonous to cats. And I thought dogs also, like, it's toxic to them. So I hear use that as an excuse.
Well, I've like, our dog has definitely smelled them, but like, our dogs react differently to them. So like, our biggest dog, like, when she smells it, she immediately jumps back and acts like someone stuck a pin up her nose or something like that. She jumps like, oh god, but then she keeps coming back and tries to sniff it again.
She's like, what was that?
Yeah,
it was like really bad shit. You're like, when you smell it once, you're like, did I just smell something that bad? You have to take another like whiff just to make sure that you weren't crazy.
Yeah,
probably.
And that's what's so crazy. Like, I think salespeople definitely have a place in society so that they can give you salespeople whose agenda is whose pay is aligned with like doing the best for the customer. Like, obviously that's hard to find, but like, if that existed, that would be my ideal sales force. But like, I just don't think we need to make salesmen for no reason. Like,
Yeah, I think what attracts people to doing that is you get to work from home. You get to work whenever you want. Like, you have no boss. You have no one like breathing down your neck too much. Like,
you also have no money.
You also have no money. Yeah, that is also true. But they don't know that. Like, when I took that class, like, this guy was making it seem like all I have to do is join. Within the first week, I'll make like $10,000. Like, and I was like, but how? Like, his scheme that I was offered was like, it was just like, you sell anything. Like, you get this magazine, and then like, you just have to go around and convince people to just buy stuff from the magazine. There's like, hey, like, this magazine has literally everything. Like, it's just like Amazon before there was Amazon, like, but on a magazine. And like, that's just really what it was. Like, you get people to buy stuff from the magazine instead of wherever they're buying it from now, and then that's how the money comes in. And then you recruit other people to do the same thing.
The balls on that guy to be hawking, like, to be shilling a magazine in the cusp, like in the very dawn of the internet, that is nuts. Like, he's yeah, this internet fad, you just wait. People are going to be craving these magazines when all that silly internet shit is over.
Yeah, he's like, check out this magazine. Yeah, like, that was back in, like, the BlackBerry days. Like, I literally had a BlackBerry when I went to that. So, like, the internet wasn't, like, it was big, but, like, there was no Amazon like it is now. Like,
yeah.
So, like, it was somewhat feasible. It's like, okay, so, like, everything I buy now, I wouldn't buy it from where I'm buying now. I just buy it from the magazine, and somehow, like, according to this guy, if I just convince like 3 people to do that, I'm gonna make $10,000 a week. Like, where is that money coming from? Like, $10,000.
It's coming. That's why it's a Ponzi scheme, because it's coming from the people you sign up. Like,
right.
The only actual income is signing up new people.
Right, and that was another thing. I had to pay to get access to the magazine and
you always
all their products, and it's like, okay, so I had to pay money to make money.
Anytime a program is dependent upon new people to survive, like come in to survive, that's literally the definition of a Ponzi scheme. I don't know how MLM has got away for so long by like being able to just rebrand as like multi-level marketing, or like it's crazy how many times they've rebranded, and somehow still people are signing up and they're like, yeah, this is great because like 2 people at the very top got to the silver tier and they have like Mercedes Benzes. That's gonna be us one day. No, it's not. It's too late.
2 people. That's you can only fit 2 at the top of the pyramid. Like, I don't know what you guys are thinking.
Yeah, just based on economy numbers alone. Yeah, like, that's a good point. Like, just economy numbers alone. If by the time you get into the scheme, there's already tens of thousands of people in it, and they're like, look how fast we're growing. Like, you can't grow any faster. Like, we're literally all gonna sell we're all gonna sell essential oils to each other. Like, how?
Right? Exactly. How would that work? Like, what are we gonna just generate Mercedes Benzes now because we're all buying it from this magazine? Like, this doesn't make sense. There's something wrong here.
Magazine, man.
All right. Oh my god, that was the 10 years ago version, but now it's the same thing.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think it's only so poisonous now because of social media.
Yeah.
So it's so easy to just like make it look so prestigious, and then it's like another thing that people want to like check off and be like, oh yeah, I have a side hustle where I like make all this money and stuff. I think in general it can be a good thing. It's always good to be able to work on like a skill that you have outside of like your main job. But when you're trying to like show people about it and like you want people to see like how successful you are, I think that's when it becomes like what that lady did in that Facebook group. Like, if you're not telling anybody about it, I think it's good. But if you're only doing it, or if part of the reason you're doing it is for people to like see how cool you are, then that's when it becomes like that. And social media just makes it like that is all it is.
Unfortunately, it's interesting that you say that, because like when I did like for a long time, well, not a long time, like it was like a year and a half that I drove for like one of those like delivery apps. At the time it was Postmates. I actually don't even know if they're still around, but Like I basically drove food around to people. Like I picked it up, they ordered it, I picked it up, and brought it to them, and they like paid a fee for that. There were times like I would post things about going out in town, or like a video about like me going out in town and like how the day was. But like it was always the grind part of it. It was always the like if it to make this $80 tonight, I like had to hit in like six different places or however many it was. Like it was never the like, man, look at this fat check I got from posting this. You know what I mean? Like so like it's so crazy how fast it developed into that. Like hustle culture used to be like very like nose to the ground. I'm working every day, and then that somehow became like instantly within 2 years. I made it. Look at the Benz, and I was like, wait, how? Like you only grinded for 2 years. Like how is it possible? And they're just like, yeah, man, that's the side hustle. The power of the side hustle.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah, it's all just like you guys are saying. It's all Ponzi schemes because that guy only got that much money in 2 years because he was on social media like publicizing it, and then he got people to go to his referral link. Like how
Dude.
you're saying, where it's like, I got this fact check. You
Yes.
can join me too if you join through my referral link.
Dude, that
It's like, well,
happens
yeah.
so often. Like
Okay.
there are people who make entire livings on YouTube selling courses of teaching how to other
Hmm.
people how to do things that they have never done.
Yep.
Like how to get rich in real estate. You've never owned any real estate.
oh my god,
Like how to
that's
run how to
crazy.
run a forex trading, how to run a forex investment firm. You have no investment firm. Like
You
literally
just go
there,
straight
but
to the top
yeah,
of like a
but be,
consultant with no experience.
seriously, it's just the topic of the first 6 months of the year, and whatever the hot thing is, that's where all the gurus are. All of a sudden, they all know how to do that one thing, and literally, they make so much money from selling people the idea that they can do a thing that they're not doing, that they are able to literally fund the lifestyle that they say they're living. They actually are living it, but they're living it off of you. Not off of like
Yeah.
so like in any time for again I'm assuming no one who watches this is gonna fall for anything like this, but if you're ever considering buying any course from someone on like the secret of how to do anything, ask yourself every single time, if what they're saying actually works, why would they be giving it away to me? Even if they're selling it to me, if they could actually do what they're claiming to do, why wouldn't they just go do it? And wouldn't that be far and away enough money, more money than they're selling me the course for? Every single
Exactly.
time, that's the answer. Every single time.
That and that's such a good point. Like these guys will have literal like Lamborghinis. They're just like, hey guys, check out this Lamborghini. I got this in like a day, just a day of work, or something ridiculous. He's like, all you have to do to learn how to do this is join my class for a couple $100 or whatever. And it's like, how could you possibly? So like, you have to sit and like talk for like an hour or possibly more, multiple times. Like, aren't you making Lamborghini money? Like, how is this like?
Yeah.
Are you doing charity work right now? Like,
Yeah. Well, it's even crazier when you think about the amount of people, especially in 2020 when everyone got stimulus checks. The stock market was a huge thing because like when the market bounced back up, like it didn't matter what you put your money in, it was going up. Like it did not matter. So everyone became like a stock market guru, an options trading guru. It was just all over the fucking place, right? Because everyone was making money. So how could you argue with the returns? And what's nuts about that is, if you understand anything about how the market works, you know that if someone had an edge to literally beat the market consistently, the moment they give that edge away and tell other people, it doesn't exist anymore. Like, it just goes away. The moment other people file in to the edge, it ceases to be an edge. So, like, if you actually had any way to generate income consistently, you would never go around telling everyone you know about it. You certainly wouldn't go selling it to other people. You would keep it for yourself because it would just be such a gold mine. You'd be printing money, like, but you're not. You're selling the secret for $200. Like, so obviously you don't want to keep it a secret anymore.
right, it's not a secret then.
Yeah, so it's just so crazy how like because of how like the dynamics of like the pandemic and everything, a lot of people, it's not their fault. Like it's a lot of them are just like people who just became adults who had very little understanding of like how things work, who just got lulled into this like Guda said, the idea of like how this person was living, and it's just all fake. Like it's social media is just people just show their craziest selves and portray that as their constant life, and it's just not real.
Right. And to make matters worse, at least on YouTube, there's no dislike button anymore. So you have no idea if someone's a quack job or not. Like, maybe you can go through the comments and, like, hopefully a comment got, like, rated high enough where you would see it.
Yep.
And then, like, hopefully it's, like, good enough where you would question, like, what it is. But, like, yeah, there's no dislike button. You have no idea. Like, anyone can say anything now, and there's only likes on the video.
Yep.
It's like, okay, well.
And that should tell you a lot about what YouTube thinks of you as a consumer. That they don't care about, in reality, they tell you that they care about you having a good user experience and they care about content creators, when in reality, they care about shifting the algorithm's numbers enough to make every video look like a good opportunity. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, anytime you hear a big company tell you how much they care about you, just take it with a grain of salt. Because if you can remove a fucking... like, we have literal thousands of videos on YouTube now of just people... Like, it's crazy what YouTube, like, prioritizes. They'll take down a video about Trump saying something that's incorrect in a heartbeat. But, like, people selling you scam courses? Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep posting it.
It's just crazy.
They'll promote it to the top. Because then they get a cut too. It's like, oh, if your video is monetized, then like, perfect. That's what they want. They're just feeding their own algorithm, essentially. And the investors and the content creators, or not the investors, like the companies that pay for ads, essentially, are paying for that. And then at the end of the day, really the consumer is paying for all of it. So like, yeah. A little bit to make our lives just a teeny bit worse. Thanks, Google.
Yeah, thanks, Google.
Yeah, man, from those gurus and those celebrities. I guess the basic premise of this whole episode is if someone really, really wants you to believe something, you should probably stop for a second and ask why.
Yeah.
Because it's probably not for your best interest.
Yeah,
Right.
That's a good thought.
All right, why does this person want to help you so much?
Yeah. Why yeah, that's a good question. Why would is there a good reason why this person would go out of their way to be selfless? And do they have any benefit there? Like, are they really being selfless, or do they stand to gain from it?
Money.
Yeah, money.
The answer is money.
Money.
Yeah. Well, that's an hour. I think that's pretty good.
That was good.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
And we only hit 2 topics, so everyone listening right now, all
crazy.
like half of you, that should let you know that we have plenty more coming after this. So,
Wait, that was an hour?
Yeah.
God, that
Yeah,
was
man.
so
It's
quick.
quick. Time flies.
It was like,
yeah.
meow.
So yeah. I guess until next time, guys.
All right. See ya.
Bye bye.
Bye.